Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
All right, let's get to the high school hype squad for this week. Let's get right to the TNL top 10 before we get into our TNL matchup. Piper is number one. They're 7-0, 4-0 in district. They are also Nick Rogers, the coach of the San Antonio Sports All-Star Game this year, so looking forward to that. We had the big announcement this past week. We had Media Day this past week. It's always great. I know it's kind of a marathon of interviews, but it's always great getting to know the players. And then especially up at Piper, they have some heavy hitters in Caden Keith and Isaiah Champagne.
He's building a state power at a brand new school. It's pretty fun to watch.
It is, absolutely. I mean, they're the 7th-ranked team in the state right now at 5-1 or 5A D1. So they are really good. They're playing They're playing MacArthur on Saturday, so they should probably get to 8-0. They won't lose a game until they get to the playoffs, probably. So they've already played their toughest game. Smithson Valley's already behind them. So Alamo Heights is number 2 in our TNL Top 10 poll. They are 8-0, 4-0 in district. They beat Vet Memorial 37-26 last year. They need to win, or last week, excuse me. They need to win to clinch at least a share of the district title this week. They are playing McCollum, so I expect them to probably do that. They have not lost a district game in over 4 years. So
they're in a tougher district now, but
tougher district.
They had a cakewalk for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing nothing against Burbank and Brack and Highlands and Edison, but they're not on Alamo Heights level. Steele is 6-1. They're number 3 in our TNL Top 10 poll. They're 3-0 in district. They defeated Judson 56-3 2 weeks ago, which was one of the biggest, most lopsided matchups in the history of those two programs. The Knights resume play this week after an open date, ready to make a charge for their 5th district championship. They're playing San Marcos, who is 0-9, so expect them to continue and win that game as well.
The story there, though, is interesting.
Isn't San Marcos still sanctioned?
Yes. So they can't play. They can't play varsity, right? These kids, these quote unquote alleged recruits, that are all playing JV football because they're ineligible to play varsity. But from what I understand, the JV is winning 77-0 every week. Like San Marcos's best players, if they could play varsity, they'd be battling for that district championship. They're that good.
I think they can next year. Right?
Yes, all those kids are going to show up and play as seniors at some point.
That game happens Friday night, 7:30 at Lenhoff. Southwest is 7-0, 5-0 in district. They beat Southwest Legacy in the Fire and Armor Bowl 41-13. They are 7-0 for the first time since 2009. So pretty good season down there for Coach Franco in Southwest. They're now 4-3 in the Fire and Armor Bowl. They have a whale of a game in 2 weeks. So next week when we're doing TNL Top 10, we'll be talking about a Southwest John Jay matchup. And
looking forward to that.
That's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Brennan is number 5 in our TNL Top 10 poll. They're 6-1, 5-0 in district. I tweeted this out. They might be the hottest team in Texas. Like ever since they lost to Reagan, they have just been crushing people. 72-7 this week over Holmes. They've scored 244 points in their 5 district games. They are just crushing people, and it's relentless too. Next game they play is Friday night, 7:30 at Gus against Stevens. John Jay, the aforementioned John Jay Mustangs, are number 6. They're 7-0, 5-0 in district. They beat Laredo Nixon 44-7. They play a 1-win Laredo Martin team 7 p.m. on Friday at Gus before the looming showdown against Southwest.
They lose Jackson Gutierrez and still go 7-0. Very impressive.
Absolutely.
Program built for success.
Yep, their offense is finally catching up to their defense this year, too, so look out.
Absolutely. Their defense, they were winning games like 9-3, and now they're winning 44-7. So their defense is lights out. Smithson Valley, 5-2, 3-1 in district. They beat Wagner pretty good, 47-7 last week. They put the clamps on the explosive Wagner offense, holding them to 179 total yards. Holding Seguin to 179 yards the week before, Wagner to 139 yards last night. Last week. They play New Braunfels 7 p.m. on Friday at New Braunfels. Harlan is 6-1. They are 8th in our TNL Top 10 poll. They defeated Stevens 49-14 last week. 8 players were credited with a rush, 6 players credited with a catch in that one. They have weapons all over the place. It's not just Peyton Matthews. So Harlan's a damn good team. Once again. Sotomayor, I want to talk about Soto here for a second. They're making the playoffs for the first time in program history. 3rd-year varsity, already making the playoffs. What can you guys say about Juan Morales' squad?
He does, not surprised, he does it everywhere he goes.
Yeah, no question. And then, again, what a statement win over Taft, right? I mean, we saw how good Taft was with our own 2 eyes, and they took it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Juan Morales is one of my favorite people.
Yep,
he's just such a nice guy, and he's a hell of a football coach
for
too.
Sure.
So
Yes,
6-2 in their 3rd year, 5-1 in district. They've won 5 straight games since opening against Brennan. In 2 weeks, I think 2 or 3 weeks to close the season. 2 weeks to close the season, they play Harlan to close their year out. So that'll be a really good matchup, especially. And then they get a bye before the playoffs, so that'll help them out a lot. And then Johnson, after losing their opening game, 6-0 since then, 4-0 in district. Beat Reagan 2 weeks ago in the Stone Oak Super Bowl. Beat Madison.
Stone Oak Super Bowl.
What, you guys never heard that?
Never heard
Me neither.
That's good. Nice.
They beat Reagan a couple weeks ago in the Stone Oak Super Bowl. They beat Madison this past week. Lauren Bubba Johnson is a really, really cool kid.
Yeah.
I was talking to him did one of his interviews at Media Day, and he's going to be really fun to watch, especially in the All-Star game too.
The fact that we knew they would have a good team this year, but the fact that they were able to put this season together like they have with
After
their
losing Ty.
star quarterback
Leaving.
I mean, hats off to everybody over there at Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, they should win this week. They play Lee Saturday at 2 p.m. over at Comalander. So let's get to our TNL matchup of the week real quick. New Braunfels Canyon versus Judson. On paper, you would think, or just by name value, you'd think Judson's going to win this game, but Judson has had some of the worst luck ever this year. They've lost most of their games by 1 score. New Braunfels Canyon, on the other hand, has a new head coach in Sean McAuliffe, who has a lot to ties to Judson. Chuck, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, he was a player at Judson, coached there obviously, left for a couple years, went out of the city, but he's back, glad to be back. Most of his wife's family is from the Bernie area, so I think that played a part in him wanting to come back. But
yeah, he went to Cyprus, right?
Should be fun though tonight, because the fact that it is homecoming for Judson, and the fact that there are guys on the staff on Sean's staff that also went to Judson with him. And the fact that he and Coach Soto were at least on the same football field back in high school, too. One was a sophomore and one was a senior. So
there you go.
Cool.
Well,
yeah, a lot of Judson ties. So
yeah.
Chuck, when you're looking at keys to the game, I know I heard you talking to Sean a little, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday or whatever it was. What are his keys to victory here tonight?
I think, for Canyon, it's be able to stop the explosive plays, right? Judson's always got guys that can hit home runs every time they touch the ball. And, just talking to Coach Soto, too, over at Judson, he just wants his guys to stop shooting themselves in the foot. You touched on it. I mean, 4 of their 5 losses in those 4 games, they lost in the closing minutes of those games. So you look at 2-5, and Coach Soto said, are we the best 2-5 team in the state? My kids believe it. So I think he believes it, too. So I think we're in for a good one tonight.
Yep.
Any addition there, John?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Canyon's offense. Their running back and their offensive line is really, really big, and their running back putting up huge numbers. So Judson's got their hands full trying to stop that ground game.
Let's hear from Coach Sean McAuliffe here real quick before we get out of here.
You're coming in, you're instilling an entirely new program and stuff like this. Sometimes it takes a year or two. Why has this team done so well so quickly under your new system?
I think it's a combination of things. First of all, we got great senior leadership. These kids have been through, unfortunately, some multiple coaches changes, and they've handled it all in stride. I think we've got a great community that backs these kids. We get great crowds every night that we get to play here at home and on the road. So there's a big-time support for extracurriculars in general, and then I think it also has a lot to do with the culture of our campus. I think you combined all those things, and a staff that I was able to put together, 2 of them, Aaron Carter and Chad Way, were on my staff at Judson at a different time. And, you put all those factors in the mix, and a little bit of luck, we're at where we're at, and, I couldn't be happier.
Have you thought about maybe what the emotions are going to be this week when you go back there, or is it just like, you know what, it's another faceless opponent, it's just another game on the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, that place will always be special just because of I grew up there, I played there, played for one of the best in the business, Coach Rutledge. And being able to coach there was a special time in my career. But in all honesty, we're looking forward to driving down 35 and teeing it up and hopefully trying to get another win. And all bets will be off at 7:30. I'm not going to take a trip down memory lane. I'll be trying to figure out how to get these kids to tackle some really, really fast athletic kids, and then hopefully offensively that we move the ball consistently enough and get this thing hopefully into a 4-quarter game where we got a chance in the end.
Coach McAuliffe seems like a really nice guy. I haven't met him yet, so I'm looking forward to meeting him tonight at TNL. So
he had some good Judson teams, man.
Didn't they go to back-to-back state semifinals when he was there?
Yeah.
We've got three of his former players in the league right now.
Who?
Sincere
Which
McCormick.
ones? Sincere?
Rashad Wisdom.
Oh, there you go.
Big dude.
Trey Flowers and
Leal.
Big Marv.
There you go. All right. Well, that's going to be a really fun matchup tonight. Looking forward to TNL as we always are. Remember to tune in tonight, CW35 or CWSA.
Yeah.
Now that we've rebranded. CWSA tonight at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
So don't watch the Spurs. You don't need to watch the Spurs.
Spurs?
You can watch us instead.
Yeah, I'll watch the first quarter and then flip over.
Anyway, that's all we got for you tonight on the Sneakers Cleats podcast. Remember to download, rate, review, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, tell a friend, tell an enemy. We'll be right back here on Monday. More Spurs coverage. And real quick on the way out, guys, Cowboys win this weekend against the Niners or no?
Yes.
No.
No. All right. I don't think so either, but we'll see. See you right back here on Monday, everybody.